Hi, this is Jamal Rahman. I'm a filmmaker based out of Lahore. Catch me on Sophie's show, The S Stories.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet again another edition of the S Stories right here on Sophiya Anjam's official YouTube channel. Every Friday, 7 p.m. we talk to somebody and we have a guest over, and generally we talk about giving back to the society. So today I'm very excited. I'll tell you why, because the person who's here in the outdoor studios of the S Stories, that person I'm quite fond of. I do respect him. He's a filmmaker now. So he's a huge, big shot now. I'm going to talk to him about that. And he's also a producer, music producer. And that one thing about him is that I've always observed that he encourages a lot of local talent. Presenting Jamal Rahman. Hello, how are you?
Hi Sophie, how are you?
Welcome to my outdoor space.
Thanks for having me. It's quite a lovely place.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. So how have you been? You've been making an international mark across the world?
Koshish hai. I've been okay. 2020 has been a strange year for everyone. And I think March se leke September tak to nothing was happening.
Yeah, true.
And then finally things have started kind of rolling forward.
Absolutely.
So yeah, things are looking up.
So I wanted to know a little bit about Jamal as a kid. Who was he? Were you naughty?
I mean, I don't think so, but I'm sure my parents may have a different
What were you
perspective.
listening to? I want to know what you were going through. The TV shows you were watching, the movies.
So, yeah, when I was a kid, I remember specifically cassettes, and we got this fancy 3-component Bose system, which at the time was top of the line.
Yeah, sure.
And it had a double deck for 2 cassettes.
बड़े cool थे ना उस
You could
ज़माने
make वो वादेन ने लिया था, मैं उसे खेलता था सिर्फ.
हाँ, वो बच्चे होते थे ना, so उसके घर वो है, जरा उसकी तरफ तो चलते हैं ना, just to try it out.
उस तरह का खिलौना नहीं था ये, unfortunately, but you could make a lot of mixtapes on it.
Okay.
That was the real beauty of it, right? So I started making a lot of mixtapes, and my parents used to always have music playing because of the system in the house.
Okay.
So I'd come back from school, the music would be playing Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, Queen, Bruce Springsteen.
Oh my God, the boss, love him.
It's like a wide range of music that was playing local and
talent
foreign.
runs in your family. मैं किस का नाम लूँ, आपकी cousins का लूँ, भाई का लूँ, आपकी family का लूँ.
Undeniably, yes.
I know.
Guess it does.
So I'm sure they had an impact as well.
Yeah.
So now let's take a step forward and come to Jamal Rahman when he grew up, right? I remember clearly that I called you. And he came over to FM 91's office. This was when we were in Century Tower. Do you remember that mini golf ke saath?
Bilkul.
Yaad hai?
Of course.
And I remember that he was coming out with something. I was like, hey, you know what? We really need to partner up. Tell us about that journey of yours.
So in 2010, that's when it all kind of kicked off. Around the end of 2009, 2010.
So almost a decade ago, man.
Yeah, it's a full decade of work.
Yeah.
I was setting up the studio. I was kind of figuring out what the opportunities were in the market and how to move forward, and I had done a couple of tracks, one of which I was releasing at the time.
Yes.
I brought it to you, and those are really early days, a lot of excitement.
Yes, but I remember, Jamal, True Blue Records was our go-to place because we wanted to discover new music and talk about these new musicians, and we were thinking, okay, so this is a new space for creative musicians and also people that we did not really know existed in the music scenario.
Well, what I really saw that was missing at the time was there were fragments of or pockets of people working in different places, but there was no unity as such. So I really felt that
अभी बड़ी कोई unity है जो आप पुराने ज़माने की बात कर रहे हैं.
If you think about it, like a decade ago, people were not as kind of working together. They weren't as collaborative. So the idea was to have a kind of central hub where people can come, collaborate, record music, and so on. वो थोड़े से detours करा के we kind of did manage to do, but it enabled us to connect a lot of people, right? A lot of young musicians who didn't necessarily know other older musicians or themselves, didn't know that these opportunities existed.
Right.
And it's a way of doing by example, right? I do something, somebody else sees it. Yeah. They think, okay, well, this is great. We can also do it, and then that empowers
Word gets
people
around.
to
Okay,
do
that
more.
sounds wonderful.
So,
and then I remember, some good days. We played a lot of your music also. And then Storm in a Teacup happened. A, I loved the name, and B, it was a really nice experience for people. Outdoors, sitting, like in a park, like a community.
It was really difficult to pull that thing together. We
Literally
did it for 2
a storm
years.
in a teacup.
Literally,
yeah.
but more than a teacup, if you know what I mean. It was really hard because I kind of had to do most of the work myself, like a one-man team pretty much. I had some help in certain areas, but the majority of work I had to do myself. So that was really tough, but you know, the day itself ended up being so lovely.
Yes.
The weather was so nice.
Yes.
The people were so nice. The vibe of it, everything kind of came together perfectly.
It was wonderful.
It was really nice, and we did that for 2 years. But unfortunately, I couldn't sustain it. It wasn't. The economics of it weren't really working out.
Right. So I think I'm glad that you brought this up as well. Now let's talk a little bit about economics, because we have to do that as well.
Yeah, of course.
So you know how people love talking about the fact that, you know, we should be a big fraternity and we should be supporting each other, and I think that's great. We should be supporting each other, but we also need to put money where our mouth is. So did you get that kind of a support when you started off, and at this moment as we speak, how have things changed in the past decade?
Well, actually, I didn't get any sort of major support for the independent stuff that we were doing. Corporates don't generally tend to. I mean, I have this. I've been saying this in a few different places. Corporates are generally risk averse, and that's a problem because anything that's new and creative tends to get sidelined.
So they play safe.
They play too safe, and unfortunately, the idea behind that is. It's conflicted actually, because corporates want something new, but they don't want to take the risk to do something new,
or they think they want something new.
They think they want something new. They think they want something that, you know, changes the game, disrupts the market, and kind of breaks through the clutter. But in order to do that, you have to bank on new and risky ideas. Coke Studio is such a huge success story over the last 12, 13 years. How did it happen? A corporate took a risk on something new, and boom, you know, it was a game changer. So in that same way, you can't really expect new results based on the same tried and tested tactic, right? So I'm kind of summarizing.
So like old wine in new bottle, basically. That's what they're looking for.
It's kind of the definition of insanity if you think about it, you know, because they say insanity is having the same procedure but expecting different results.
Absolutely. That's always the case, right? Okay, so now let's come to this one aspect that I'm totally loving about you. You're a filmmaker now and a hotshot director who's won an award as the best indie filmmaker. So now let's take again a step back and talk about your time at New York. You were studying. So let's talk about that.
So we'll need to backtrack a little bit before that. At the middle of 2017, I started a venture called True Brew TV, which was an extension of True Brew, the studio.
I remember.
And we released something like 45, 50 songs over about 18 months. And during the course of that, I started developing this interest, or started becoming more aware of this interest in exploring storytelling and narratives and so on. And I'd been doing that through music somewhat, but now we were doing it visually, right? And so at the beginning of 2019, or end of 2018, I thought I should try my hand at it. But filmmaking is a fairly technical, fairly kind of mysterious thing, or it was for me at the time. So I decided to do a short course that would give me a diploma, give me sort of a foundation. And that's when I applied to New York.
So you wanted to study this theory, and you wanted to get into the
also the practical side of how a camera works, how lighting works, how storytelling works, the structure of
the craning and the panning,
a story,
and
a narrative, all of that. There's so many things to learn, and I'm still, I'm excited about how much there is to do. But so I went to a place called the New York Film Academy, and they sort of cram in about 6 to 8 months worth of syllabus in like 8 weeks.
Oh my God.
So you're literally making a film every week.
How did you survive?
I didn't sleep for 2.5 months. I didn't sleep at all. Because you shoot on the weekends, and then you're doing post, and then you're presenting, and then you're working on new ideas. But you got to do it. I think
that's part of the process.
Yeah, it's part of the process.
Right?
So it really kind of accelerates your learning in a brilliant way. So I did that last year, and at the end of that, I managed to make my first short film.
Fantastic. So let's talk about your first short film, Elizabeth. And also it was showcased at the festival, and then it won an award. I mean, I'm really excited just to think about the fact that you won it. I can't even imagine what you must be feeling.
Well, it was, I was over the moon, obviously, because
were you expecting to win, though?
I was not. No, I had no. I mean, I thought, okay, I'll get selected, maybe go into competition, but not necessarily win. But that was definitely.
And who were your competitors? I really want to know.
There's about, they pick 100 films. And they shortlist that different categories out of those.
So out of 100 films, Jamal Rahman won the Indie Filmmaker award. Fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. So my next question.
It's very encouraging.
It's very encouraging.
I mean, these are people sitting halfway across the world
Yes.
who review dozens and dozens and dozens of films per day.
Right.
And for them to say, you know, wow, this is a good piece of work is for me very encouraging.
I think it is lovely, and also the kind of target that you sort of, you know, showcasing as well at the same time. But Jamal, mujhe ye batao that a lot of people, you know, when I was mentioning the fact that you'd be over on the show, I got a few messages and people were like, how can we watch it? So that is a big question mark in Pakistan. भाई हम क्या देखें, मतलब कि क्या Netflix तो हमारे लिए है ही नहीं, तो हम क्या देखें? अभी ऐलान किया था फवाद चौधरी ने,
बिल्कुल किया,
ठीक है, तो जरा कुछ तासुरात पेश करें अपने.
Well, it's a difficult time because if corona cases are going to rise again, then having a sort of physical screening isn't really
Doesn't
possible.
make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to do it online. I haven't really worked it out. There are technical mamla hai. So hopefully soon, before the end of the year, I'm planning to have like an online screening.
ठीक है. And how? What is the duration of your short film?
Oh, it's 3.5 minutes.
3.5.
It's super. It's like a micro short essentially.
Okay.
And I had 10 days to do it.
Right.
Which meant I procrastinated for 2 days and then worked for
We
8.
all do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 8 days, you know, pulling off a 3.5 minute film is a pretty difficult task.
It is. It is. I mean, you have to make sure that everything's there.
Yeah.
I think it's a tougher job.
And you have to ninja it.
Yes.
So the thing is that you have to do your own location, you have to do your own casting, you have to do your own production, you have to do everything yourself, post, script writing, everything.
So you were literally a one-man army?
Except for the day of the shoot.
Yeah.
People on your course crew for you.
Of course.
So, you know, one person will do the camera, one person will do lights, one person will do sound.
Sure.
But other than that, it's all you.
Okay.
So you don't sleep. You know, for 8 days, I was just awake.
I know.
Just on.
But, you know, probably on the 9th day, you were like, you know what? It was worth it. I am the Indie Filmmaker of the year.
2 days of procrastination, 8 days of work.
Definitely. No, thank you so much, Jamal. Such a pleasure. But before we let you go, you know, I think a lot of young filmmakers, aspiring film sort of producers, music producers are there. I think we are living in a transitional phase. And I think that what might happen tomorrow, we can't really say. We live in uncertain times. But what would be your take-home message for everyone who's watching this right now, you know, having won the Indie Filmmaker Award now?
I would say the main thing is don't be afraid to do something different. In fact, strive for it. Strive to do something new, do something that breaks away from the norm and, you know, pushes the boundaries of our creative space in general. I think that applies to everything, any kind of creative work.
Absolutely. You know, I really wanted to say goodbye, but I just wanted to ask a few more questions before I let you go. What are you listening to these days, music-wise?
So I am currently, September, the first 2 weeks, this band from Karachi called Towers came to Lahore and we recorded a new song that we've been working on remotely through the summer.
Which language?
Urdu and English.
Okay.
It's a mix. Mostly Urdu, but like with like bits of English in it. And the song kind of turned out to be really something exciting.
Okay.
And
when's it coming out? I'm excited to play it.
Yeah, we decided to do a music video for it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which I've been writing as a short film. So it's not a typical music video. It's going to look like a short film.
Okay.
Yeah, but no dialogue. So
you just got used to it, huh? Haven't you? You just got used to it now. You want to do more of these things in the future.
Absolutely. So that should be out before the end of the year.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. So something to look forward to. Acha, I know that my director is going to kill me right now because he's like, time's up. Come on, like cut it short. Okay, time's up. But just last question, I want to just pour in right there.
Sure.
So I saw one of your interviews. And I was like, let's talk a little bit about festivals and the importance of festivals in Pakistan. But also, it's not just about clicking nice pictures and wearing a nice dress and telling people we're going to the festival and hey, we're supporting local content and all of that. But it's about tangible results.
Right.
So how can we make that happen in Pakistan?
So film festivals, the crucial thing, aside from people obviously watching your film, is that you get to network with people who invest in films, people who distribute films, and so on and so forth. So that really enables young or emerging filmmakers to be given opportunities.
Sure.
And I think that's super important. I think it's really important for new people to be given space to do the things that they want to do.
Right.
And I think locally, if that's seen at least internationally, right? But locally, we don't currently have a sort of film. We don't have the kind of frequency that we need to really have a film industry. By frequency, I mean the number of releases, right?
Yeah.
In order to increase the number of releases, we need to work on more of a grassroots level where we bring up young, emerging filmmakers and train them to do feature films
right.
and TV shows.
Sure.
And that's really where I think the magic of a film festival
Absolutely.
is.
I think this is an ongoing discussion, and I think I'll call you over on the radio show very soon
sure,
to talk
absolutely.
about it. When a plane apparently is not hovering over us, but ladies and gentlemen,
it adds to the vibe.
Adds to the vibe. Yeah, I was like, okay, kitne chakkar lagane, kuch piche pad gaya. But anyway, thank you so much for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and support local content, and also, you know, it's not just about supporting local content as we talked about. It's also putting your money where your mouth is. So if you have possible investors watching this show, if you have possible distributors watching this show, and also if you feel that there's something you can do at an individual level to support local content, go for it. Because remember that any artist who is doing something for Pakistan is a representation of your country. So
Absolutely.
Keep the spirit alive. Bye-bye.
And I also want to say, yes, if there are investors out there, call me.
Woo! There you go. See ya.